Well, good evening and welcome to Kopernik Observatory. My name is Drew Desker. I'm the director here. Great to have you here, even on a cloudy night for our Friday night presentation. Let's see here. I always start out by finding out who's here for the first time or not since your fourth grade field trip. All right, very good, excellent. Okay, who here are members? Oh, a good portion of the rest of you. Excellent. Well, what I'd like to point out is that those people who raise their hands second have a valuable piece of information. That's what a Kopernik membership does for you. Like a Kopernik membership will get you into Kopernik on any of our Friday night programs. We also have some special events that you can your card will let you get into. As well as we belong to what's called the ASTC, Association of Science and Technology Centers. It's a consortium of over 380 other science centers that honor each other's membership cards. And actually, a Kopernik membership is actually particularly valuable because you could take it and get into any of those other facilities for free. So I took my daughter down to the Franklin Institute in Philly a few years ago. And had we paid street price for just myself and my daughter, it would have cost more than the family membership for a year. So if you like this kind of place, Kopernik membership would be a decent thing to get for yourself. Also, if you've got children or grandchildren, you can also get a discount on our summer camps. And a nice segue into the summer camps. Every year, right after school ends, we offer week-long summer camps, STEM-themed summer camps for students going into second grade through high school. So if you come up to our website and go down to public classes, summer camps. And again, we've got camps literally that start for kids that are currently in first grade, going into second, and from young engineers, super sciences. It's not always about astronomy. Engineering for kids, solar system travels, super kids help save the planet, discovering the beauty of patterns through art. Then when we get into middle school, we have astrobiology. We've got, I guess, one spot remaining on that one. Our VR class, our immersive innovators, both sessions got sold out, very popular. And this year we're starting a new camp called 3D Adventures in 3D, and that's sold out as well. One camp that I run is called Return to the Edge of Space, and this is where students, middle and high school students, will build a payload that we will launch on a weather balloon from here. We have cameras on board. We have some experiments on there, as well as tracking equipment. That balloon will travel up to literally the edge of space, up to over 100,000 feet. Where the balloon envelope finally pops, and then the payload, usually, comes down nice gently with a parachute, and then we send a recovery team out to go grab the payload, and look at the cameras and experiments and do a report on it. So if you know somebody that might fit into any of these camps, I would register them sooner than later because they are filling up. We also, during the school year, we are very busy with school camps, schools that come up here for enrichment. In fact, this week we've been doing a first grade programs. In fact, actually, this room was the telescope petting zoo, so you can see a bunch of telescopes in the back there. And we also did some experimentation with lights and mirrors, and then, of course, they spend some time in our planetarium and check out our scopes. So it's been great to have the schools. It's a lot of energy when that comes up here. But one of my favorite parts of Kopernik is these Friday night programs. From March to mid-December, we always do a public program on some aspect of science or technology, not always about astronomy. This evening's program actually is evidence of that. And it's an opportunity for us to continue our education. So especially for some of those young people that are watching, or either here or watching on our live stream, it's recognize that education is really something you should be doing your entire life. And I really wish I could live another 50 or even 100 years, because what I've seen just in my own lifetime, how technology has improved. As I like to say, when I was your age, I used to have to walk to the TV to change the channel. Now it's, I can see it on my phone or whatever. So what's going to happen with technology, with medicine, as we discover more about what's out in the universe. So anyway, it's an opportunity for us to just learn more about what the world's about, what the universe is about. I mentioned also that we have a live stream. So back in 2020, when we actually had to stop our programs because of COVID. We couldn't put people in a room again. So I figured we'd just wait a couple of weeks until this COVID thing blows over, and didn't exactly play out that way. So after about a month and a half or so, we said, look, we got all these speakers lined up. Why don't we have them Zoom into us, and we'll put it right back out on our YouTube channel. We now have nearly 14,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. And so there are people that are watching here this evening, but what's great about our YouTube channel is that you can actually go and at a later time see what happened last week. We had a talk about the Fermi paradox. The week before that, Venus in Lucifer. A talk about science and religion, Tale of Two Theories of Evolutionary Epiphany. So you can go all the way back, literally, for the last 5 years with our programs. But along with our Friday night programs, occasionally we do programs with particular astronomical events. So if you remember, back in March, there was a lunar eclipse. Unfortunately, it started at 2 in the morning, and actually Jenny Cardy, our livestream astronomer, was here and live streamed for 5 hours, and actually put a nice little 1 minute time lapse of the eclipse. Now, for those of us that know a little bit about telescopes, this was all done with a C-Star little mini telescope, and we'll take one out a little bit later on, and we'll can show you what that's like. Here she changed the exposure so we could actually see when it finally gets into the blood moon. Of course, it did not happen this fast. This happened over about a 2.5 hour period of time. But what's really neat about a lunar eclipse is that it always happens during a full moon, and when a full moon is out, you hardly see anything else out in the sky. But when you finally get to have this eclipse, then all of a sudden the Milky Way will pop up, and even the dimmer stars will show up. So anyway, so check out our live stream, and if you're unable to come up here in person or watch it, or to that evening, you can always come back to our YouTube channel and view and enjoy those talks. But as I said, every Friday night we do this, and we're very fortunate. Actually, I ran into Dr. Pitarrisi at Aldi a couple of months ago, and we got talking, and he said, "Sure, I'll come up and do a talk," and brought Minica. So we will transition to that right now. So I'm gonna hand the mic over to you while I get your presentation up on the screen.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's great being here. So I can move around and the camera will follow me, but it's pointing over there now. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I can move around. Good. And I love this idea of the petting zoo for the telescopes back there. They look like free-range telescopes, so that's good. I'm glad you're very organic and down to earth here. Fantastic. I feel like Phil Donahue with this. For those of you in the audience who remember Phil Donahue, I appreciate it. For everyone else, who's Phil Donahue? Yeah, just be quiet. Okay, great. We're all set. And Minica, do you have a lav? Test it.
I am I'm here. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Minica Terela. I'm an instructional designer at the Raymond Corporation, and I've been in instructional design for about 4 years, and honestly been interested in AI for about that time as well. So we are here to kind of share our love and obsession and passion about AI with you guys.
Yeah, and I'm James Pitarresi. I'm a mechanical engineering professor up at Binghamton University. I currently serve in the capacity of vice provost, one of a handful of vice provosts. Most people don't know what a provost is. I'm the provost in charge of vice. That's, all right, yeah, okay, thank you. This is a rough audience, I can tell already. All right, let me get this remote here and get the show on the road before we get any other bad jokes. Yeah, so AI for all, Minica and I talked about, we're not sure who the audience was going to be. We both have a lot of experience with AI. Both of us will say, we are not experts at this at all. We're maybe a baby step ahead of some of you and maybe behind some of you in terms of your experience and knowledge of these tools. However, we use them all the time. And we use them in our work, we use them in our lives. So we wanted to share that with you. So this isn't a workshop in how to do prompt engineering. It's more of a discussion of things that we've done with it to kind of open up your eyes, if you haven't played with these tools yet, to see what they're capable of. All right, so let's see here. This should be in the on position, and it's not advancing. Okay. Oh, okay. You did that for me. Thank you. All right. So what is AI? So how many folks here, like, you've never used like ChatGPT or anything like that? You haven't used it at all. Okay. Couple people haven't used it. How many have used it a little bit, like you're somewhat familiar? Okay. And then how many people here are experts in AI and machine learning? Okay. So I gotta make sure, right? I gotta be careful here. What I want to do is, I don't know why this isn't working.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll just do it that way. Okay, so what is AI, right? It's AI is focused on creating systems capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. That's what AI is. It's composed of a couple of pieces. Let me just try it and see if it works. Did I do that?
You did that.
So there's a switch with on and off. But if you're upside down, it's like, what are those words, right? So no and what? Okay. Very simply, it combines a couple of elements, and one is natural language processing. So the nice thing about the AI tools that we use is you can talk to them, and they'll talk back to you. And now they'll literally talk back to you with a voice. But what I mean by that is you can type things in, like a conversation, and it will respond back. So it responds with natural language. And the techniques that have been used to develop this end up with these, what are called large language models. So they have a huge corpus of language that they've ingested, and that's why they're called large language models, or LLMs. The other part is machine learning. And so machine learning is sort of the training of these models, these large language models. And so these are algorithms that make decisions from the data. You feed it a bunch of data, and they look for patterns. And ideally, they can figure out what's going on just by looking at patterns in the data. So the combination of these two things gives us these incredibly powerful tools that everyone's talking about. Okay, so James, what do you mean data? Well, let's say I have a set of data that I want to feed in. This is a picture of a wolf, so I put the picture in and I tell it what it is in machine learning. Here's the picture, it's a wolf. Here's another picture of a wolf. I'm training the machine learning algorithm. I'm seeing if it could understand the patterns here. This is a husky, so it's not a wolf, okay? And this is a wolf, so I'm feeding this data in. I'm training it. husky, husky, wolf. Uh-oh, husky. Sorry, husky didn't show up there, husky. All right, so I've trained it. I've used machine learning. It's looking at patterns in the data, and it's like, oh, okay, I got it. Test me. Let's see if I got it. So let's go see what happens with predictions. Oh, there's husky, showed up. So prediction. Here's a picture. What is it? And it goes, oh, I know what that is. It's a husky. No, it's a wolf, actually. Yeah. Okay, didn't do so well. How about this one? Right? Oh, it's a wolf. Yeah. No, that's husky. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The top one's a wolf. The bottom one is a husky. It got it wrong. So let's pause for a moment and think about that. I trained it on this data, and the prediction didn't quite work. Yeah, no, you can ask questions. Please do.
Is it because it recognizes the picture of the husky with like without this in like looks like to be a warmer area and the wolf in a cold zone with snow?
You are very, very smart and observant. So that's exactly right. So in every single picture of the wolf, what did we see? Snow. So I built bias into the training data. I only showed it pictures of wolves and snow. That's how bias gets, that's one of the ways bias gets in the data. And the huskies, warmer, there was no snow. So when I showed it a picture of a wolf in the forest, it was like, well, there's no snow. It must be a husky. No, that's a wolf. And down here, the husky outside in the snow, oh, it's a wolf. No, it's a husky. So that's one of the ways bias gets in. You have to then correct it and say, this is human reinforced learning. Oops, no, you didn't get that right. I would correct it, and then it has to continue learning. So that's machine learning, real simple. Okay, and then a typical large language model chatbot like ChatGPT, how does it work? Well, for example, if I said to you, I need to file my, what? Taxes? I need to file my, what? Yeah, go ahead. What do you need to file? You don't file anything. Homework. I need to file my homework. I need to file my nails. I love it, right? So I think most of you were probably thinking taxes. Why? It's April. It's getting close to the 15th. So the context of the question led us to believe. When I asked that question in January, no one thinks taxes. They're thinking, I need to file my complaint. I need to file, my paperwork. I need to file, whatever. So the way you just functioned as a large language model. All right, so most of you completed that sentence with the word taxes. The context helped you in that direction, but it wasn't the only answer. That's how a large language model works. It's based on training data. It's got a whole bunch of words, and it saw patterns in the words, just like we saw patterns with wolves and huskies, and it predicted the next word based on the context that it had. We didn't tell it was April. You knew it was April. So we could literally go into ChatGPT and say, what is the probability of the next word in this sentence, and give it to me in a chart, and it would give us a little chart, and it would, let's just make it up. It might say taxes, 30%, nails, 2%, because most people don't think of that. Complaint or paperwork or something, 25%. So it's generative, right? So that's what it does. It's gonna try to predict the next word. Okay. Here's an actual prompt. The prompt is the way you talk to these, these AI tools. And I used Midjourney, which is for creating images. And I said, show me a room with no giraffes in it. Make sure to annotate the image to show me why there are no possible giraffes in the room. So you'd expect to get a room with no giraffes, right? And ideally, some words telling you why. This is what it gave me. Now, clearly, it did not listen to what I said. But it did listen to what I said, because it looked at this and said, blah, 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 giraffe, blah, 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 giraffe. Oh, giraffe appears twice. He must want a giraffe. And blah, oh, room, blah, 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 room. He said room twice. He wants a room with giraffes. Well, there you go. That's an incredible room. I got giraffes painted on the wall. I mean, this is incredible. He's going to love this. It's like, no, this is what I wanted. So the modern image generators leverage the large language model, understand the context, the exact same prompt. This was put in GPT 4.0, and it's got some mistakes, but first of all, it's a room. There are no giraffes in it. Check, right? It's telling you, by the way, no giraffes. It tells you there's no giraffes. It says, well, there's furniture in the way, right? The giraffe couldn't fit. The ceiling height is too low, which is true. It's pointing to the wall. Got to do a little more training there. Difference between a ceiling and a wall, but it knew the ceiling. The door is too narrow. It probably needed to point to the right. You know, it's kind of pointing to the potted plant on the door, too narrow. But it's pretty gosh darn close, and I would accept this over the other. So this is like a B+. The other one was, yeah, okay, say it. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Sorry, do it again. It's a do-over, right? You get to try it again, right? So these are some of the interesting things. What's amazing is this is completely generated by AI, right? So the words I used made that happen. What about video? Yeah. Let's see what happens. I'm nervous. Okay, this is a video of Big Sur, completely AI generated. I mean, that is insane. So I can imagine in the not too distant future, you will see movies on television or in the theater that are completely AI generated. So that is definitely coming. Pretty amazing there. And so, you know, responsible use of AI. So what are some really cool uses for it? Well, this is an interesting pre-paper, New England Journal of Medicine. And this is differential diagnostics. This is some metrics that were run. Over here is the % correct diagnosis. Clinician, I'm sorry, Drew, is Leanne watching?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry, Leanne. Didn't do so well. ChatGPT did pretty good. I am not suggesting that you should ditch your primary care, person and use ChatGPT. I'm not suggesting that. What I am suggesting is the power of using these AI tools with the experience and the clinician who knows you could lead to really amazing outcomes. What's really cool about this is Eric Horvitz. I don't know if anybody here knows who he is. He graduated from Binghamton University, and he went on to Stanford, and he got a PhD in AI and an MD from Stanford. And he's now chief scientist for Microsoft. So he's a pretty accomplished guy. So I emailed him, and he and I next month are going to Zoom. Actually, we're going to use Microsoft Teams. Oh, sorry, can you delete that from the, if he's watching this, he's going to be like, really, James? We're going to have a conversation and just try to understand. I mean, clearly, this guy's got a lot of experience, and I really want to leverage it. Okay, we all have these utensils at home, right? IKEA, right? Love it. I wish there were a IKEA up here. You got to go all the way down to like New Jersey or Brooklyn to go to IKEA, Philadelphia, right? Do you have these? I'm the only person. Thank you, right? Thank you, right? Yeah, you got them? Okay. Guess what? You're not supposed to use them because they contain BDE 209, which is a fire retardant in recycled plastics from electronics. Why do we know this? Because, I screwed up. There was a paper published, I'm missing a slide, I screwed up, I apologize. There was a paper published at the end of last year that said, don't use this stuff. It leaches out, it's dangerous. And social media took off like crazy. Ditch your black plastic utensils. So you can do this. You can go download the original paper, which is what I did right there. I had a graphic that showed it, sorry. And I said, here's the prompt. For our YouTube audience, I'm pointing up here. Can you please carefully read this paper and check for any errors, math, etc., right? Thanks. I like to be nice to ChatGPT, you know. And it's like, yeah, you know, I'll check it. It thought about it for a minute, and I highlight this section here. It's like, there's something seems to be wrong here. I did the math from the paper. It doesn't look right. So I said, well, dig into it. And it says, okay, I went through the equations very carefully. Here's the bottom line. There was a factor of 10 error in the paper. This is a peer-reviewed scientific paper. The authors, their research team in the lab, and the reviewers did not catch this factor of 10 error. ChatGPT caught it in a minute. The paper has since been corrected. Your IKEA utensils are safe. You can continue using them. Yeah, you're good. You're fine, right? I know. I was like, I just panicked people here. They're like, oh my God, I just made eggs this morning. And now you're good. So a little bit of concern there. And by the way, all the images done by ChatGPT, right? Minica sort of came up with the style from it. I then just I put the image, some of her images in ChatGPT, and I said, look, I want an image that shows, you know, college students around a computer in the style of Minica's image. And so we have consistent character, look, and feel. It's amazing. Just a couple of really quick things, and I'll turn it over to the star of the show. AI transformation of student success. So Tom, you know, others, this is something we've been really concerned about on campus, in higher education. What we can now do is have smart course repositories. I teach a course on innovation. All my notes, my PowerPoints, assessments, projects, I can load them in a tool called Notebook LM. I give the link to students. It's free. Notebook LM is free from Google. And the students can query it. It's like, oh, but James, it's going to hallucinate. It only uses the material I put in. It only uses the material I put in. Well, how much material can you put in? Well, it has a context window of 2 million tokens. James, you're speaking AI again. What's 2 million tokens? Oh, yeah. A token is like 2 or 3 letters. It's a word or part of a word. James, get to the point. 2 million tokens is all 7 Harry Potter books plus 4 more, and you're still not at 2 million tokens. You can load that in, and it will only reference that material. So as an educator, here, students, here are my notes in this course that I've taught for the past 6 years. You can ask it any question, and it will only answer from those notes. Pretty powerful. AI scheduling and advising, right? Here's a frustration. Student goes in, gets 20 minutes with their academic advisor. They waited 2 weeks. They go in, they sit down, they're trying to do, you know, a comp lit and biology or something, you know, dual major. And so 18 and a half of those minutes are spent with the advisor trying to figure out the schedule. Oh, but oh no, that won't fit. But how about this on Thursday? Oh, you're on the Frisbee team, right? And then the remaining minute and a half is, yeah, but you know, I'm thinking of going to med school. What should I do about that? Oh, well, you know what? Time's up. Set up another meeting in 2 weeks. No. Humans want human contact. You know what? A computer is good at figuring. You want to do those 2 majors? There's all the data. Go figure it out. Tell me about what you want to do. How are classes? What are the challenges you're facing? You know, how are things going? Let's have that human contact. Fantastic. AI-assisted pedagogy, you know, as instructional designer, this is where Minica and I like sort of overlap. The ability to develop course content, higher education in my case, that leverages experts in pedagogy is incredible. Ken Bain runs the Best Teacher Institute. I can ask ChatGPT, hey, if Ken Bain were available, what feedback would he give me on my syllabus? Whoa, 2 seconds later, I've got excellent feedback. I can go in and change it. And of course, tutoring, 24/7, fantastic. You know, here's the thing. The tutor never gets tired of you asking the question. You can ask it over and over again. I know in my office, if a student comes in and it's like the 5th time I've heard that question today, I'm like, give them the face, right? And of course, you know, I'm thinking I'm being cute giving them the face, but there's a power distance there. And I'm an older white male. There's a tremendous power distance there. And so I could really scare someone off from ever coming back to my office because I did the face, right? But the tutor, the AI tutor, doesn't do that. It's like, yeah, you can ask me 50,000 times. I'm going to try to explain it to you every single time. Woo! All right. Uh-oh.
So you might be thinking now, I don't know that I need this. You might be thinking now, AI is just not for me. This seems way too complex. I've got, you know, there's a lot of things that could go wrong, a lot of biases that could happen. Why would I use it to help me create a course or help me create my content? There's a lot of things that could go wrong. But what I heard is that James really is promoting that there's a connection between you and AI, that you two want to work as a partner together. I don't want you to leave here being scared of biases or context issues or prompting issues. How do I prompt? And then receiving incorrect outputs. Because James touched on this idea of the combination of AI and you two working together. And I'd like you to start thinking of AI as your thought partner instead. And I'd like you to think of it as your brainstorm buddy or your devil's advocate, somebody that you work alongside with that you can add to your team and start thinking outside of the box and thinking of all of these possibilities that you now have access to. Because really, isn't that how we think about the internet nowadays anyway? It's kind of scary out there on the internet. Now we've got AI to add into the mix, but it can be pretty amazing with the things it can give you. So I want to show you examples of how I use AI with my 4-year-old who is already tired of being here and ready to go home. But this is how I jumped into AI, is really using it into my personal life. And I certainly use it all the time at work. And we finally got ChatGPT business plan at work, and I'm very excited to use it in my career. But I really learned about it by using it in my personal life. And so we're here today talking about nurturing young children, nurturing young minds, and it starts with a 4-year-old, like my son. So I want you to listen and think about how you might be able to use my examples in your scenarios, in your situations. And if you want to chat afterwards to talk about how we can change my scenarios to work for you, let's do that. Let's have those conversations. I think that what I'm about to show you, it should be used as a stepping stone to continue our experimentation with AI and our exploration of it. So some of my challenges as a mom is limiting screen time, finding engaging indoor activities during cold weather, navigating difficult conversations, making a new topic fun to learn about, supporting my child through big emotions, and honestly, just being an expert on race cars and dynos. That's really what it's about, right? And I can only do that so much. So the first example that I really want to show you is ChatGPT voice chat, which is the simplest example. We're going to start really easily. I did ask my son if he wanted to do this up front. Do you still want to do it? Okay, he says no. So I just have the app on my phone. And there's a black button when you start a new chat. There's a black button that goes into voice chat. And when you get it launched, you have
Absolutely. Teaching your son about race cars can be super fun. Do you want to focus on how race cars are built, how they work, or maybe the history of racing?
I will
Or
bring
something
this
else
up.
entirely?
I will bring this up with my son, and we will talk to her, ChatGPT, whatever her name is. And I'll have him talk to her and ask questions. And he's really into race cars right now. Dynos. Actually, we'll do dynos. And so what I do is I open it up for Makita, and I'll have him ask, but he won't do it now. I'll have him ask, teach me about dynos. Teach me about dynos.
Dinosaurs are a fantastic topic for kids. They lived millions of years ago and came in all shapes and sizes. Some were gigantic, like the Brachiosaurus, while others were small and fast, like the Velociraptor. You could start with the different types of dinosaurs, what they ate.
I'm going to stop her, because that's not the point that I'm going for. But she sounds really great, right? And think about a 4-year-old listening to her enunciate and speak very slowly and speak clearly in nice formed sentences that I definitely can't do. They've got good conversation here. What I've done is I have my son ask the questions himself. He asks the first question up there. He says, teach me about race cars. Instead of me asking the question on the right side, teach my son, who is 4 years old, about race cars. And let me show you the difference, the reason why I do this. Because this is the answer that I got when he asked, teach me about race cars. Absolutely, race cars are specially designed vehicles built for speed, blah, blah, blah. But I like the second paragraph. Formula One cars, for example, are known for their advanced aerodynamics, powerful engines, lightweight construction. Let me tell you, I would not explain race cars like that. Those are not the words that are coming out of my mouth. But now he got to hear that vocabulary. He got to hear that and learn those words. When I asked ChatGPT to teach my son, who is 4 years old, this is the response it gave me. Sure, hey there, buddy. Race cars are super fast cars that zoom around tracks to see who can go the fastest. That's cute, that's great. I personally, genuinely really like the response on the left. What this teaches my son, the skills, I now am teaching him communication skills, vocabulary development, enunciation, pronunciation, turn-taking, focus, self-regulation. There was a ton more that ChatGPT told me that I was teaching him, all these other skills that I was teaching him, by letting my son communicate with ChatGPT. And we do this with dinosaurs. We do this with cars, zombies, another fun topic. And we've learned about a lot of things. And then we continue the conversation, and he's like, oh, did you say that one thing? I want to learn more about that one thing. And he continues that conversation. And then when he gets bored of it, I can continue the conversation. And I can continue the conversation by saying something like, design a coloring page of what we just learned about today. And print it out, and he can go color on it. I can ask it to give me some ideas on how I can incorporate what we learned today into our family activities. We're headed to church, the grocery shopping, and going to the zoo later today. How can we learn about race cars while we do those things? Tell me a story about how Harry Potter found himself driving a race car. I would not be able to do that on my own, but we love Harry Potter and we love race cars, and now I've got them in a story together. So that's just the simplest way, and again, I want you to think about how you might apply that to your children, your kids, who are a little bit older than mine, even middle school and high school and college, and how that might help you expand those skills with those children. So speaking of stories, not necessarily Harry Potter and race cars, but my next example is with a program that I'm really, really enjoying. It's called partyrock.aws. And I'm going to hop out of my presentation and go to Party Rock. So this is my sign in for Party Rock, and these are all of the apps that I've created with Party Rock. And what I like about Party Rock is it creates an app style using generative AI. And when I say app, I mean you can type in inputs first, and then it gives you a generated output.
Oh, quick question. Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
How much does this cost?
This is free. I haven't paid anything for this app, and I've made all of these, and I use it, and I can share all of these apps with you guys as well. You can use them. The first one that I want to show you is Choose Your Own Adventure. We've made this for bedtime. This is our bedtime story, but our first input is this box on the left. And it's asking me, welcome to our interactive RPG experience. To craft a unique adventure just for you, I need a starting point. Please describe a theme or a setting for your story. So we might be a paleontologist who finds a dino bone. And the great thing is you don't have to know how to spell. It actually knows how to do all of that for you. And then you have to verify you know what the buckets are. Did I get it? Those are buckets, right? Okay. And it's going to write me out a story. And so what I love about this one is you can tailor it to, their current favorite topic, what they're learning in school, and it creates a story around that. And because it's Choose Your Own Adventure, you get choices, choice A or choice B. Now, I've specifically written this one, so there's only 2 choices because 3 choices were too many for my 4-year-old. But you can either carefully excavate the bone right away, taking all proper scientific precautions to document everything, or you can follow the direction the bone is pointing. It seems to be aligned with a mysterious cave. What's your choice? And then I'll just type in A or B. And then you see on the right, what's really cool about this app is each time you go through the story, you get a new picture. And that's the greatest thing for my son, is he really enjoys these pictures that come along with the story. So this is our way of having a new story, bedtime stories that can really connect with what he's learning, what he's interested in. So you can now take this app and you can remix it yourself. If you go to my link and you view this, you can now take it and remix it, and you can edit it. And you can see the prompt that I've used right here. And here's my prompt. And you're able to edit it now to your specific scenario. You want it maybe 3 or 4 options. Maybe you want a challenge in those options that they have to do, like a math problem. They have to answer a question about whatever they're learning, something on the test that they're going to learn about. You can now change this prompt so your story is related for your scenario. Any questions so far? Will I go over to next app?
So you can just share these with anybody.
So I can share my apps with people, and then if you guys sign up for Party Rock, you can remix it and edit it yourself. You can see my prompt that I put in and edit that prompt yourself to make it work for your scenario. I didn't, not for this one. And I personally enjoy, I guess one parameter I did do, no violence. I enjoy the uniqueness of sometimes not giving it parameters. And you'll have to experiment with what you feel comfortable with. And I think that's important for all parents and educators to understand. Try parameters, but also don't try them. Sometimes you get some exciting adventures. The next one I want to show you is Game Skill Remix. And this does kind of take into consideration parameters. So the white boxes at the top are your inputs. Now I'm specifically asking what type of game do you want to play? Do you want to work together as a team towards a common goal? And there's another option. Or do you want a competition with one winner? So now we can start putting parameters on the inputs that we're putting. We also want to let the app know how many number of players, 1 to 1 million players, available games and tools. So this one takes your available games, your available tools that you have, and it's going to make a new game for you. And so I'll put in, I've got Candyland, I have dice, I have lots of Legos, I have kitchen utensils, you know, whatever you want to say that you have, whatever kind of tools you want to say that you have. And then in the right-hand side, the target skill and grade level, I will specify, you know, we're playing with a 4-year-old and I want to learn about math with dinosaurs, something like that. I can put that in there. So, but you can use it for any education level, right? You could put in middle school, high school, and it will tailor its responses to you. And it'll make a game for you. And it'll provide you some ideas for games down here with the existing tools you have. And what's exciting now is that I also have added an assistant down at the bottom where you can talk back and say, hey, I didn't really like that one game that you put in there, but I really liked this piece of it. Can you edit it a little bit? So there's an option for you to kind of talk back to it and edit the game that they made for you. And we have treasure hunts, and this is kind of the most complicated one that I've made. I think treasure hunts are exciting for kids and adults of all ages. Everybody loves a good treasure hunt at a party, at a birthday party, in school, at home. But as parents, they are not fun to make, right? You have to get very creative. You have to hide all of the riddles in the correct spots and not mess it up and make sure it goes in order. You know, so the first riddle tells you that it's under the couch, and then you got to go find the next clue, which is in the fridge. It's a whole setup. This one, you have a whole bunch of inputs that it's asking for, and it'll generate that treasure hunt for you. So think of all of the possibilities. You can now use this in the classroom with your children, quickly generate something fast and easy for them. And it gives you instructions at the bottom on how to set it up, where to put the clues, and a quick copy and paste so you can print it, paste it into like a Word document and print it out for your kids. So I want to leave you with my last topic that I've thought about a lot as I've been using AI, and that is prompt engineering. And I think when people hear prompt engineering, you might get really scared. I don't know how to use AI because I don't know how to prompt. But the way that I got to this and making all of these things for my child is by just talking to AI and asking questions and helping and asking it to challenge myself and challenge me and how can I think differently. And that's how I got into this weird, crazy place where I can now create apps that do a lot of things for me, and I can now be more present and in the moment with my family, and hopefully you guys can do the same with your students or wherever you're here. And so prompt engineering, I just don't think it's as complicated as a lot of people make it out to be. As long as you communicate with it and tell ChatGPT, hey, that's not really what I'm looking for. Can you try again? Can you do it a different way? You're going to get really exciting answers. If you push it outside of its comfort zone, it's going to help push you outside of your comfort zone, and you're going to find yourself in some amazing places and doing amazing things with it. So that's how I got here. Any final questions? Yeah.
Do I have the final slide?
You do.
Yeah, go back to the slide. Yeah, go back to the slideshow if you can navigate over there, please. And yeah, okay. And where's my little clicker? Yeah. So who calls this a clicker? Does anybody else call it a clicker? Yeah, right. And do you know why we call this a clicker? Because back in the old days, when they first came out for remote control of TV, you'd push the button and it would mechanically change the channel and would go click, click, click. So that's why a lot of people call these clickers. So, see, you learned something. All right, let me make sure this is working. All right, where are we with AI? Real quick wrap up. I'm getting the look from the boss here. All right. So I can tell a few more jokes then? No, that's all right. You guys have been too kind.
Any dad jokes?
Yeah, I got tons of them, but actually ChatGPT has even more. So, trying to wrap this up a little bit, right? AI is the newest powerful tool. Humans have been here before. We've had, major changes due to technological advances. I don't know, things like fire, for instance, electricity, computers and so forth, the internet. They could help advance human well-being. Can they be used destructively? Yes. Oftentimes, that's our choice, to use them to the betterment of society and humanity. We believe that AI can amplify our creativity, it can deepen our knowledge and enrich education. I mean, that to me gets me excited every day. I do know that AI can help revolutionize healthcare. We are working very collaboratively with Guthrie and UHS and researchers at the university doing things like precision medicine for breast cancer research. Wouldn't it be great if we could leverage the power of AI to really address some of the most difficult and widespread diseases that we are challenged with today? But it's up to us. We have to guide AI. We just can't let big corporations dictate. We have to have a voice in this. We have to have a say. And so this is something that we need to really push for thoughtful, ethical and responsible development of AI. And ultimately, each of us can shape AI's positive impact in our lives, in our communities. And so the last thing I want to leave with, and hopefully this works, yay, together let's leverage AI for human flourishing. I think that's where, the thought I want to leave you with. So Minica and I will be happy to answer any questions, as long as they're not too difficult. All right. What do we got? Do you have a question? Okay. Dr. LaMarche has a question. This could be a tough one.
This is funny, but I had a question, but I asked ChatGPT, so I don't need an answer.
Oh, no.
I'm being upstaged here.
But, always with anything like this,
Yeah.
I want to know, well, one of the questions I asked was, will it replace humans?
Yep.
And the other question I asked is very straightforward, who makes money with AI? Because, data monetization, so, like I'm in ChatGPT right now, I do use it, I use the free version. So, these are questions I have of who benefits, who's the person behind the curtain that's, where is this going? And so maybe you can speak a little to the backside of this.
Sure.
Nothing is free.
Yeah. So these are great questions. And will it replace humans? Maybe someday. I think we're far away from that. Will it take jobs? Yes. We are in for economic disruption. There's enough chaos going on in the world right now. This is going to add to it. Jobs in the future are going to be looked at as a bundle of tasks. And some of those tasks that are now your job are going to be done by AI. And you might supervise that AI. There might be AI agents. People talk about an agentic future, a future where agents. So I might supervise 5 or 6 AI agents that do different things for me. There will be disruption. And that is of concern to me. We started an Institute for AI and Society at the university to study these problems. This is going to have an impact on us. What's interesting is we have for-profit companies, Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Sonnet, and so forth. These are the big chatbots. You can pay to use them. At the top tier, you can pay $200 a month to use some of these. You get access to tremendous capabilities. There are also free versions. There are also what people call open source versions. We're not going to get into details of that. They're free to download, and you can run them on your computer if you have a big enough computer, all right? Who's benefiting from it? Complicated. We're in a race right now. We're in a race with China on AI. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We have powerful economic factors coming into play in this country to really push AI and to push it, in my opinion, very far with very little regulation. And our country leaders view China and their AI as competitors. Sad to say, I think both sides are racing to how can we use AI in weapons, to be quite honest, to say it in a way that is kind of frightening. Unlike nuclear weapons, which were highly controlled, unbelievably expensive, and very difficult, this is free. You've got it. And you can jailbreak it to help you do things that you probably shouldn't do. So this is why Minica and I are happy to go out and talk to groups. We have to be aware. There has to be AI literacy. This is coming. The smoke isn't going back in the bottle. So you need to understand it and voice your opinion on it, because I really believe it can be used for human flourishing. But just like so many technological advances, it can be used in ways that aren't supportive of human flourishing. So I share your concerns. And there are people making money, but most of these companies, interestingly enough, are not profitable at this time. They're banking on everybody using it, and then, hey, guess what? We're going to charge a lot of money for it. Yes?
Speaking about electricity and climate change.
Yeah, energy usage.
Yeah,
Woo.
someone as a student, as somewhat of an environmentalist, I would love to know if the university is considering that, or other organizations in their usage of AI.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a serious concern. What I would say is it's not only AI. I mean, I think we need to look at our carbon footprint and all the energy, right? I drove here myself, up the hill, right? So, I took a shower in the morning, right? That's about 2.5 to 3.5 kilowatts of electricity. That's probably about 20 prompts in ChatGPT. I go over my friend's house, and every light in the house is on. It's like, what? Are you still in the bathroom? Like, turn the light off. It's a dad thing. I know. I get it. I'm sorry. But, so it's I think it's false to, we're going to pick on AI is this big energy waster. Yes, it's using a lot of energy. So is everything else we do. So we need to step back and say, how can we conserve energy? So I am concerned about that. I am concerned about what my generation is handing off to you. And I dearly hope tools like this might help us uncover new ways to deal with climate change. Yeah, yes?
I like that you use the word tool. Stuff that's a tool that we can use.
Yes.
I'm still not sure there's any intelligence to it itself. I just remember, I'm an old man now. I remember the early days of computing when the classic statement was garbage in, garbage out. And that's what the prompts.
Yeah.
If you put in a garbage prompt, you're going to get garbage out. The other side of that is what garbage has already been put in.
Yes.
That AI is so-called AI, I'll say, because I don't think there's any intelligence to it so far. It's still just a machine doing.
Yeah.
Computer switches, on and off, on and off. But I don't see any intelligence to this yet. I'm old enough, maybe I'll never see it get intelligent. It might do that. But I like the idea of it's a tool that we can use that can help us do a lot of things, maybe. But along with the comment about the electrical use and so forth, one of my concerns at this point in time is whether it's AI or all of the data centers electricity, the fact is that in this country, we do not generate enough electricity to meet probably even half of the demand that we're looking at in the next 5 years, much less farther down the road.
That's correct.
And so we're really facing rolling blackouts.
Let's hope not.
I'm a member of the Pitarresi Rural Electric Cooperative, and they have an excellent newsletter on all, it's called 10 Lines for all of the cooperatives in Pennsylvania. And all I can say is they're making it very clear that we're going to have to cut down on our use of electricity, and that we are facing the reality of rolling blackouts because the old generating plants are being pulled offline, and there's nothing to replace them. And the problem with renewable energies is too cloudy of skies, no wind.
It's never cloudy in Binghamton. Right, Drew? You can operate the telescopes every night.
We don't have hurricanes coming up with coast, and, I mean, all I'm saying is.
Yeah, the energy use is huge.
Yeah, the energy usage is huge,
Yeah.
and the available energy.
It's not going to meet
What
demand.
we're demanding, it just isn't gonna be met.
Right. I agree 100%.
We better find intelligence greater than what we humans have shown so far.
Yeah, and I think calling it artificial intelligence is not quite right. I mean, I'm in a lot of agreement. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, totally forgot. I get to be Phil Donahue after all. Okay? Right, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
So I have an IT class, and in the IT class, we had a talk on AI, and one of the annoying questions I had to answer was the AI take over the world scenario, and my response is always, it's a computer. A high enough EMP would, well, it's still, you know.
So
explain
what an EMP is.
An electromagnetic pulse.
Right, which would disrupt the circuitry.
Yeah.
Right, and there goes the rolling blackout. So no wonder the two of you are sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
I need another microphone.
Yeah. Also, fun fact about what you said: 50% of households in this state don't get power from this country. We get it from Canada. So if you did, and also now with the tariffs that a certain individual has set up, it might become more expensive to have electricity between. Just a little thing.
So we're getting into politics here. I promised we wouldn't get there, but yeah, I mean it's going to be a mess. You had a question.
I do, but it's at a different thing with energy. About 30 years ago, I was a teacher, and you know, I was thinking of your setup. It's beautiful, but I think there is a lot of ways to come up with imagination that fits the individuals you're working with, whether they're 4 and 5 or whether they're 13 and 14. And a lot of those prompts, you simply draw from your who you're speaking to, or who you're teaching, or who you're writing a story for. And I was watching all of that go through, and I thought, by the time we were done with coming up with the story could have been told. And it didn't have to be anything different, and it could be applied. And I do feel growth in language is about the most critical thing for children, and we spend a whole lot of time with our mouths and noses covered, and I think that was a terrible detriment for our young language acquisition children. So, but I do, and I guess that's my take on the fact of energy, that we do it, and we do it all the time. I made up a story every night.
Well, it's great.
AI is not better than any other solution out there, and what I've shown is not anything better than anything else anyone else can do. My mother-in-law has been a teacher for many, many years as well, and I've moved into that teaching field through instructional design. Sometimes I find myself in challenging situations that I do need that little extra bit of help, and AI has been my partner and my tool in that sense. And maybe if I was a teacher in my first couple of years, I would totally need that extra help to think outside of the box. But after you build your toolbox, AI might not be the tool for you that you need anymore, because your toolbox is growing in different ways. So, I mean, absolutely, it's just another tool. We all use them differently.
So we'll take, maybe, did you have a question? So we'll do two more questions, because I think it's getting late, and we are happy to hang out here afterwards and go into detail. By the way, there are some custom books up here that Minica made based on some of the stories. You had a question.
Well, a lot has been brought up as I'm sitting in between people here. I'm an educator as well. And I think the whole idea of nourishing the humanity part of it, as you were saying, human nourishing, it's a tool, but creativity needs to be there as well. So I can see where you're combining the worlds of what we're all talking about here, where you still need to have that creative input, because that's part of the processing that children need. But yet I can see where the tool being used here is a great way to channel into all the things that we're talking about here. So it definitely is a tool.
It's a tool. It's something that we need to be aware of and have a voice in. And also as an educator, over here there's a manuscript, and I don't know if you've ever taken time to read it. It's cursive in Latin. Has anyone read this? I did. When I got here earlier, I took my iPhone, took the camera, pointed it at that, and ChatGPT translated that handwritten cursive Latin into English. And I was able to read that. And I'm guessing I might be one of the only people here who's ever read what that says. I'm going to hand the microphone off because you had a question.
I do. I see that there are a lot of positive aspects to AI and the tools that everybody can use for good, but especially younger kids growing up with it are going to be utilizing it with questions and things. How do you make sure that this tool is used by older students to learn instead of just having it do the work for them?
So I don't work with older students, but it's going to be in my mind, it's going to be a new skill that we now have to teach our students how to communicate with a computer. And it goes back to the way that I think about prompting, is not that I need to find the right formula for the perfect prompt. I need to know how to ask the right questions. And I might not even go into ChatGPT asking a question. I might just say, I am struggling today. I cannot do X, Y, and Z. I can't even think of the question to ask you. And it replies to me, and I say, no, that's not really my situation. Like, you got it wrong. I need something different. And and help me think outside the box, and can you tell me how to, a different perspective that I can look at my problem with? Can you be a different persona and help me communicate in a different way? You have to learn how to communicate now differently with AI, and that's going to be a skill that I think we might have to teach our kids. I'd like to hear what James has to say, though, too.
We were goofing off because we were reading the English translation of that, right? It's pretty cool, isn't it? And I used Gemini, I didn't use ChatGPT. It's sort of like Kleenex, right? It's not Kleenex, it's facial tissue. But everyone just says, give me a Kleenex. So, right? You know what I'm saying? And so, I used ChatGPT as this generic AI chatbot. The concern I have is that, you know, most of us here learned, you know, creative thinking, acquired language, all these sort of things, right, the old-fashioned way. And the evidence isn't, you know, we don't have evidence yet as to, is this going to enhance or hinder that capability? I use AI so often, I find I sometimes use it as a shortcut rather than as my creative partner. As Minica has said, is use it as your partner. And so I have to sometimes say, no, I'm going to do the brainstorming and think about this, then go to ChatGPT. I'm concerned with college students, where's the easy button? Exactly. And we're going to see learning losses. We're happy to chat. I know people need to use the bathroom and all kinds of other things. So, Drew, thank you so much for bringing us up. I'm going to turn it over to you to wrap up.
Thank you. And actually, it's funny because as we were talking about, you know, responsible use of that, I remember when James, you and I were probably, we're almost the same age-ish. But anyway, I remember my first year of college. I was an undergrad in the mid to late 70s. Okay, youngster. I thought you were older than me. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I was in a engineering class, and my professor forbade me to use that new electronic calculator I had. You know, and I'm thinking, are you teaching me how to do math? Are you teaching me how to solve the problem that I'm going to use that calculator for? He made me use a slide rule, which arguably is a form of a calculator. So my sense is, I think there's going to be those struggles, and as Minica and James were saying, is that it's learning how to use it correctly, not to make it the easy button, but to really give you an opportunity to explore more. You know, what they say, computers makes you allow you to do more mistakes faster. Well, I mean, it allows you to do that research faster, and you get deeper into it. And ultimately, I mean, just because it's on paper doesn't mean it's true. Evidenced by that plastic, you know, the paper you saw with the plastic that was off. That was a peer-reviewed paper. Yes. So just because it's on paper doesn't mean it's also that's necessarily, you know, set in stone and correct. So, but anyway, thank you both very much. This was just outstanding. Oh, we actually did on the we had about 28, 30 people or so on the live stream, and we held a little informal poll and asking, have you used ChatGPT or something like that? We had 10 responses. 6 said yes, 4 said no. So. That's about where we are in this country. So, but anyway, so thank you again, both of you. This was a great presentation. Next week we're doing a thing called. We're going to do a selfie with the audience. There you go. There you go. Excellent. Next week we're going to just hold an informal evening of night sky observing. We won't have a formal presentation, but if the skies permit, we'll be open and our telescopes will be open. And for those who haven't been here in a while, our rule is that you can't leave here until you look through a telescope, but it won't be particularly useful tonight, but we would be happy to give you a tour if you're interested, get you to see our scopes. Then the following week, we actually have Zoe Lunar-Pontario coming from Cornell's astronomy department, doing a talk on quantum physics and how it ultimately maps into the universe. So, so you got to come. You got to see it. Anyway, so thank you both very much, and we'll look forward to seeing you. For those that did pay, however, if you see me at the register, we'll give you a card to come back for free on another night. All right, well, thanks again.